we had done yesterday, right? We had looked at the relational operators, right? So what did we discuss with relational operators? We said that relational operators will always give you either true or false. Okay, relation, as the name suggests, we are checking the relationship between two values, two variables, and relationship will tell us whether it is greater, smaller, higher, lower. That's all. Okay, so we checked for less than, greater than. Okay, now there's one more type, okay, or one more set of operations that I want you to know, which is called as logical operator. Now, some of you must have done this in your discrete mathematics or in your digital electronics. Okay, we have this AND gate and OR gate and NOT gate, correct? So that's what we're going to talk about. So how do we perform AND OR in Python? So we also call it logical, right? Now let's say I make a prediction. I make a prediction that, okay, both Rohit and Ishan will open the batting for India. This is my prediction. Okay. And actually, what happened? Rohit and Rahul opened the batting. So, is my prediction right or wrong? Tell me. Is my prediction right or wrong? Did I get it right or wrong? Okay. So, I got 3 answers so far. Okay. They're different answers. Anybody else? Yes. Now you are getting. Most people are getting correct. Yes. So yes, it is wrong. Okay. It is wrong. Okay. Not right. Why? Because I said and. See, when you say and, you're making commitment for both. We'll have a session on Python and database tomorrow. But I take only Python or I take only database. So did I make my commitment? Okay. Did I make my commitment? No, I did not meet my commitment. Right? I did not meet my commitment because I promised to give you both. I will do this and this. So when you say and, you both have to be correct. That means your both statement have to be true to be true. Otherwise, it is false. Agreed? So, okay. So my answer or my statement here is wrong. My prediction is wrong because I said both. You know, Rohit and Ishan, right? And obviously, it was only one of them, not all, or not both, right? So my prediction is wrong here. Now let's say, what if I had predicted? Okay, if I had predicted, okay. Uh-oh. If I'd said Rohit or Ishan will open the batting for India, okay, and actually Rohit and Rahul opened. Okay, in this case, what do you tell me? Is my prediction correct or wrong? Is my prediction correct or wrong? I'm getting some responses. Great. Okay. There is nothing called partially correct. Okay. Here, Boolean is either true or false. Nothing called partially right, partially wrong. You are either wrong or you are correct. Okay. There's nothing called partially wrong. Okay. So in this case, okay, I am correct. Okay, my statement will be true. My statement is true because I did not commit for both, isn't it? I said, okay, Rohit or Ishan will open. I'm not saying both will open. I said one of them will open and one of did open, right? One of them did open. So my message here, my prediction here is correct. So if I tell you tomorrow I'll take a class on Python or database, and I take class on only database. I told you all, right? I will take Python or database. And I took a class on database. So what I said is right. Yes or no? Okay. So that's why we say that this is okay. My prediction got it right. My prediction is true, correct. And here my prediction is false. I'm saying for both, but one is right. Okay, so I did not meet, okay, or my prediction was not right. Make sense? So what we just understand is when you're using and, okay, all the conditions have to be true for it to be true. Okay, so print true and true. Okay, true and true will be true. Rest everything. Okay, I say false here, I say false here, and I say false here. See, if my both statement was wrong, let's say, um, Rahul and somebody else. Okay, Rahul and Pant opened the batting. Then anyway, it is wrong. Both becomes wrong. And or both is wrong. Okay. So when you run it, you see for and both has to be true to be true. Okay. Even one is wrong, entire thing is wrong. Okay. Now for or what we said, even one is true, entire thing will be true. Even one is true, entire thing will be true. So this will be true, this will be true, this will be true, this will be true. Only this will be false. Only fourth one will be false, right? Everything else is true. Did you understand? Because when you say or, I'm making commitment only for one. I'm saying I will do this or this. I'm not saying that I will do both, right? So that's when you make commitment, it is important what you commit, right? When you say I will do both and, okay, and you did only one, you have not met your commitment. Okay, great. And then you have third one, which is called not. Okay, not true, okay, is false, and not false is true. So print not true is false and not false is true, right? Opposite. Okay. Okay. Now where is this used? This is used to evaluate conditions. Now let's say I go back to yesterday's program, okay, here, and let me take these completely. Okay, I come back here to our today's program and I paste it here, and here I will paste, I'm going to say val1 comma val2 comma val3 equal to 11 comma 11 comma 23. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to combine them together. So, okay, I need to get rid of this. And here I'm going to say, and here I'm going to say or. here I'm going to say, and okay, we'll pick one more. We'll pick one more from, let's say, here, and we'll say or. Okay. So I have a complex conditions where, okay, so this is one condition, this is another condition. So we have 5 conditions, right? And they're all combined as one. So we are going to get only one output. Okay. So conditions, you can club the conditions using and or. Okay. This is what we are going to do in the next program when we talk about if. Okay. The next concept that we're going to talk about in some time is if, and this is what we are going to use. Okay. So I'm talking about the conditions. Okay. So what is the total output? Now, what will this give us? This should give us either true or false, nothing else. Answer would be either true or false, but it is true or false. Let's calculate and see. So let's say here print. Now, before we talk about not print, let's just do it first, then we'll print it. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste. Let's, when you have both logical as well as relational in one, you have to first solve the relational operator. Leave the logical as it is. First relational, output of relational will go to the input of logical. So relational, tell me, is this true or false? Okay. Value 1 is less than value 2. Is it true or false? Okay. So value 1 less than value 2. 11 is not less than 11. Yes. Kaushal, tell me, is it true or false here? Kaushal, tell me, is it true or false? Don't worry about the entire thing. We'll break it and we'll see. Just tell me, Kaushal. Okay, I'm getting answers. People, all of you are right. Okay. Okay, so all the answers, but I'm waiting for Kaushal to tell me. Kaushal says he's not able to understand. Okay. See, when you go to a buffet for food, right? Okay, and you have 20 or 30 items to eat. Do you eat all the 30 items at the same time? No. Okay. You want to eat all the 30 items, but you can't eat all the 30 at the same time. You will go step by step. You will take one, taste it. Take another, taste it. Take another, taste it. Right? Similarly, we have to, okay, whenever you have a big problem to solve, don't get scared of, oh, such a big problem. Okay, you start solving step by step. Okay, yes, everybody is got, I think more than 15, 20 people have answered. Great, guys. But I was waiting for for Kaushal, but Kaushal is not answering. Okay. So Kaushal answered something else, but not to my question. Value 1 less than value 2. Is it true or false, Kaushal? Value 1 is 11 and value 2 is 11. Is 11 less than 11? Obviously not. So it has to be false. Yes, correct. So it is false. Okay. Okay. People are still responding. Good. Okay. Thank you, guys. So this is going to be false, right? We are not going to eat all the 30 items. We'll first eat our first item. So we ate our first item. I told you, leave the logical as it is. Do not worry about logical. Let's solve the relational. Tell me, value 1 less than value 3. This is true or false? Sai got it right. Very super fast, Sai. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, so many answers. Yes, it is true. Okay. Now, value 1 less than equal to value 3. Value 2 less than equal to. Yes, Sai. Oh, your fastest finger first. Sai. Okay, true. Value 1 less than value 3. 11 less than value 3. This is also true. Okay. Now, value 2 equal to value 3. This is false. Yes. Okay. So what we did, we removed all the relational operators. Now we have to solve. Now we have to solve the logical operator, right? Okay. So when you have many logical operators, we have to follow Bodmas rule. Okay. So Bodmas rule will also has, when you extend it for logical, and or also comes. So between and or, and takes higher preference over or. In your mind, think of and as multiplication or as addition. In your mind, think and as multiplication or as addition in your mind. So obviously multiplication is done first and addition is done later in Bodmas rule. So here too we will talk about, okay, addition later, that is or later, and your and first. Solve all the and. F and T. F and T. Yes. Sai is on fire. Sai Teja is on fire. It is false. I told you for true, both the value has to be true to get true. Even if one value is false, entire thing will be false. So here you have one false, so this is going to be false, not true. Next and. True and true. True and true. Oh, this time Ashish beat Sai. Okay. True and true will be true. Okay, done. Or and is done. Now let's solve or. F or T. Yes, Sai. So see, what we said is when you're using or, okay, when you're using or, even if one value is true, everything is true. In and, if one value is false, everything is false. Here, if one value is true, everything is true. So this will give us true. True or false? Will give us true. So now when I run it, you see, this entire thing will give me true. That's how we end up getting true. This entire thing, this entire condition will give us true. Okay. So we'll move to the next topic, which is to check the conditions. Okay. And when we do advanced condition, we'll see how to use this concept there. Okay. So let's move on. Any questions so far? Did you all understand? Okay. We are done with basics. What we just did is all basic, very basic. Now we are going to our main topic. So I'll tell you of the entire thing, okay, of the entire Python. The most difficult part, I'll tell you, is next three topics: if and loops. If and loop has two parts: for loop and while loop. These three topics, if you master, okay, nobody will stop you from mastering Python. Okay, you need to master just these two topics. Okay, so conditions, if and your loops, master these two topics. So be with me. Okay, we will go slow. We will take a lot of examples to see. Okay, get it right, understand the concept. The entire programming is built on these two concepts: conditions and loops. Everything else is a feature. That is a feature. But at the core, these are the two things. Okay. So especially for those who have not done programming before, please be attentive. Okay. Perfect. So let me move this away from here. So this is our day 3, right? So I'm going to say day 3 topics. This is what we covered. Okay. Coming back to our notes here. Okay. So next thing is conditions. So when do we use conditions? So far, what we have done a programming in sequence. That means we did first line, second line, third line, fourth line, so on, right? That's what we did. First, second, okay. But there are some situations where you may not need to do things in sequence, right? Now, for example, let's say if you have to figure out, if you have to find if the number is positive or not, if you have to figure out if a number is positive or not, right? So let's say I put something here called num equal to 5, right? Now, this case, this is going to be positive. So you will say print positive. Now, if I make this as -5, then obviously what we did here is not right. Correct? In this case, we have to print not positive, right? -5 is not positive. Let's look at positive and not positive. So your program should have both the values, correct? So your program should have both the values. Okay? Your program should have both the values, but only one of them should be printed. You don't want to print both, right? If it is positive, you print positive. If it is not positive, print not positive. You don't have to print both. Isn't it? So how do we design, okay, this program? Okay, so here this is a classic case for condition. Checking the condition. How do you check the condition? You say that if this is this, do this. Otherwise, do that. If number is more than 0, if the number is greater than 0, you print positive. If it is not greater than 0, that's when you print negative. If the number is, so that's the condition we have to look at. Value greater than 0. Value greater than 0. Okay. If value is not greater than 0, okay, then you say it is not positive. Okay. So how do we do that? Okay. So first I need to check the condition. What condition? If num greater than 0. If num greater than 0, colon. So to check the condition, we have to use if. To check the condition, we have to use if. If followed by condition. Okay, if followed by condition, the relational operator, conditional operator that we did, and the output of relational operator has to be either true or false, isn't it? Okay, the output of relational operator, conditional operator has to be either true or false. It cannot be anything else. No partial true, no partial false. Hey guys, can you hear me now? I'm really sorry. There was a power cut and I had to switch to my phone network. Okay, it should be okay now. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much for everyone waiting. We'll continue from where we left. I'm really sorry about that. Summertime, I don't know. Okay, so this is where we are, right? So we were talking about conditions. So what we said was, if you have to use the condition, you have to use if followed by the condition, right? And you can have condition based on your requirement, and you can perform or you can join multiple conditions. So how do we join multiple conditions? So you join multiple conditions using logical operator. So again, the previous example that you saw, what we did, we have, this is one condition, another condition, another condition. So multiple conditions can be joined by logical operator, isn't it? Okay. In this case, we don't have to do it. One condition is enough. That is, if num is greater than 0, then it is positive, else, okay? Okay. Now what I'll do is, I will not print this. We'll focus on these two statements for now. Num is -1. So what will this evaluate to? Is num greater than 0? No. Num is not greater than 0. When num is not greater than 0, this will return us false. Correct? So when this returns false, it will not go inside if, and nothing will be printed. It is not going inside this. How do you know it is inside this? Because we have given indentation space. So far, what we were saying is that you should not give any space. When you want the content to be part of the main program, do not give even single space. But when you want something to be part of a block, for example, I want positive to be inside if. I want positive, okay, to be inside if block. Then yes, you say print positive. You say print positive. And for Python, okay, see here it's going to give error because we are saying that start if block. How do we know if block? You give colon here. So if condition colon, after that you have to start a block. A block means at least one space you have to give, at least one space. Python is happy even if you give one space. Okay. Now you can give any number of spaces. There is no restriction. At least one space is compulsory, right? You have to give at least one space. But on the higher side, you can give any number of spaces. That is not a concern. Okay. Let's say I have to have one more line within now. I'm going to say print yes. Saying again it's positive. Yes, saying again. So I want to have second line also within this if block. Now I told you, when you're doing first line, you have a choice. For first line, you have a choice. It can be one space or 100 spaces. But when you're adding second, third, fourth line, you do not have a choice. When you're using second, third, or fourth line, you do not have a choice. You will have to give same number of spaces as you gave in the very first line. Okay, if I have to add one more line, I have to begin from here. Okay, but generally best practice is that you give a tab space. Okay, one or two spaces, probably our naked eye will not be able to see if there is a space or not, and more spaces doesn't look good. So we give tab number of spaces. Okay, and you can set your tab. By default tab is 4 spaces, but you can edit it. You can change the tab value. Okay, I'm going to use default 4 space. So tab is generally what we do, but as I said, you can give any number of spaces. That's not a problem. Any number of spaces, print positive, print yes, saying again it's positive. Both are under if. How do you know? Because we have given tab space. Okay, so it is inside. So when you run it, okay, since this is false, it will not go inside the condition. Since it is false, it will not go inside. I will make it positive by giving +5. Now, if I give num equal to 5, okay, you see, it becomes positive. 5 is greater than 0. It becomes positive, and it says yes, positive, okay, and you get it. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Now, let's say if it is not positive, I want to give not positive message. So we have something called as else. So if can work alone, if doesn't need anything else, if will work alone, and for if condition is true, it will go inside if, otherwise it will not go. For else, okay, is part of if. Else cannot exist alone. What else says? Else says if the condition inside if is false, if the condition inside if is false, then come to me. If the condition inside if is false, then come to me. And so in this case, if you see, only one of the condition, one of the block will execute, not both. If the condition inside if is true, if will execute, okay, and these two will be printed, and this else will never be called. But if this becomes false, then else will be called. Here you run it, this is true, so this will be called, and positive is not called. Now when I say -5, and now when I call, you see it says not positive. So this is how you work with, this is how you work with conditions. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so now I'm going to move this away, and we will look at another situation. So this is when you have to deal with only two conditions, right? Now we'll talk about when you have to deal with more than two conditions. Let's say three conditions. You have to deal with three conditions. Okay, when you have to deal with three conditions. So let's say here you'll have three possibilities, right? Num is greater than 0, num is less than 0, and num is more than 0, equal to 0. See, greater than 0, it is positive. Okay, so in this case, it is positive, right? See, but 0 is neither positive nor negative. That's why I did not say negative here. 0 is neither positive nor negative, isn't it? So in this situation, we are dealing with three conditions: positive, negative, and 0. So when you have two conditions, when you have only one condition, if will do our job. When you have to check two conditions, it is if else. And if you have to deal with three conditions, then it is if else, if else. When you're dealing with three conditions, if else, if else. So let's do that. I'm going to say elif. Now, elif is a short form for else if. Elif is a short form for else if. So elif num less than 0. Okay, if num greater than 0, elif num less than 0. Okay. Now, what is the difference between this and this? See, if is always the starting point of a block. And when you write elif and else, that means these are all part of that if block. And among all these things, only one condition at a time will be executed. So here I have three conditions, right? Num greater than 0, num less than 0. Let me print something here. I'm going to say negative. Yes, saying it again, it's negative. Else, not positive. What do you say? Neither positive nor negative. Right? So when you say -5, you say negative. If you say +5, you will get positive. And when you say 0, it is the else part. This is also false. This is also false and goes here. Okay. So this is an example where we are checking three conditions using one block. If, elif, else. So if this condition is false, only then it will go here. If this condition is true, then it will execute and come out. It will not even check elif, else. If the if condition becomes true, it will go inside if, perform the job and come out. The other conditions will not be checked. Only if this condition is false, it will go to the next one. If this is true, perform all this and come out, not even check else. But if this is also false, this is false and this is also false, then only it will go to else and check this. Okay, so this is an example where you're checking for three conditions. Yes, so you can have 10 conditions also in one problem. The first is always if, last is default else. See, else does not have condition. If will have, else if will have conditions, but else will not have. Else means default. If nothing works, then you have to do this to me. Default one. So if will have condition, elif will have conditions, else will not have condition. Else is always the last one, default one. By default, else will, if nothing else goes through, else will happen. Okay. And if you have more than 2 conditions, 10 conditions to handle, first is if, last is else. In between, you will have 8 elifs. You will have 8 elifs to work with. Did you understand, guys? Is it clear? Did you understand? Confirm me in the chat if you got it. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So yes. No, I mean, all are yes. I haven't seen any no. Perfect. Okay, let's continue. Now we'll do one more example. We'll just repeat or we'll just revise what we have done. So I'm going to write a program to check if the numbers, if the two numbers are greater or not. So I say num1 comma num2 equal to 10 comma 20. Okay, I want to check which is greater. Okay, so what I'll do, the three possibilities here also, they are equal, they are greater, they are or n. See, they are equal. That's one condition. Other condition is n1 greater than n2. Third condition is n2 greater than n1, isn't it? So here also we need three. We need three blocks, three conditions. So I'm going to say if first condition is num1 equal to num2. Okay. Now see, when you have so many like 8, 10 logic to build, you cannot build all the 10 logic at the same time, right? Each of the logic will be complex. You have to take time to build. So what we do generally is we'll create a structure first. We'll create a blank structure. We'll come back and we will then add our logic. So one is if num greater equal to num2, and when you don't have to pass, when you don't have to write anything, when you don't have to write anything in the block, you say pass. Pass is to indicate that the block is empty. There is nothing else to do in the block. Block is empty. Block is empty. Okay. Now I'll say here elif num1 less than num2. Pass. Else is obviously okay. N1 is less than N2, right? Equal to is not there. N1 less than is also not there. By default, pass will else will be, that is N2 is greater than N1. So we created this blank structure. Now we will come back and we will add our logic to it. Okay. So here I'm going to say print format string num1, which is okay, sorry. So here have to be simple bracket, right? Why did I give this bracket? Okay, yeah. So num1, which is num1, and num2, which is num2, are equal. Okay. Next, num1 is less than num2, right? Num1, which is less than num2, which is num2. Okay. I'll copy and paste it here. Num1, which is this, is greater than num2, which is this. Now let's run this and see the outcome. Num1 is 10, right? So this is what? This will be false. It'll come here. This will be true, and this will be printed. Num1, which is 10, is less than num2, which is 20. Now if I make this also 20, first condition itself will be true. So you see, it says num1, which is 20, and num2, which is 20, are equal. I'll make this as 30, or this as 30, right? So this is also false. This is also false. It comes here. So num1, which is 30, is greater than num2, which is 20. Yes. If you have questions, guys, please put it in the chat. Okay. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. Okay. So this is how you can check if two numbers are greater or not. We'll do one more example before we end the day. And, tomorrow we'll start with loops. Okay. And once we are done with the loops, then we'll come back and we'll practice programs using both loops and conditions. Okay. So we'll do one more conditions program today. Let's say, okay. So we have to take average marks and assign the grade. Assign the grade based on average. So if average is, okay, if average is greater than 85, if average is greater than 85, I want to say grade A. If it is between 70 to 85, we'll say grade B. If it is 60 to 70, grade C. 50 to 60, grade D. And less than 50, we'll say grade E. So here, how many conditions are there? 5 conditions. So when you have 5 conditions, we'll have to check for 1 if, 1 else, and 3 elif. So let's simply create the structure first. So let's say AVG equal to some value for now 55 I give. Now create the structure. If AVG greater than equal to 85, do something. Elif, three elifs. AVG greater than equal to 70, do something. Elif AVG greater than equal to 60, do something. Elif AVG greater than equal to 50, do something. Okay, else something. Okay, so this is the structure. Now let's go and add our logic. So if it is more than 85, print grade A. More than 70, we say grade B. More than 60, grade C. More than 50, grade D. Else you get grade E. Okay, so this is, we have built this. Okay, so now if average is 55, you should get grade D, right? Now what if average is 95, let's say. Now you see, if average is 95, you get grade A. But here also condition is true, right? 95 is greater than 70. Then why not grade B is printing? Why only grade A is printing? This is also true, right? And this is also true. This is also true. Then why not grade B, grade C, grade D printing? It is not printing because I told you only one condition will be executed, the first true condition. So in this case, this is true. So it will print it and not even check other conditions. Other conditions are not even checked. Other conditions are not even checked. Only one of the given if else block will be called. If this is true, it will print this and come out of the if block. If this is false only, it will go here. If this is false only, it will go here. If this is false only, it will go here. And if this is false only, it will go to else. Okay. Okay. Now let's add one more concept here. So average is fine. Now, if average is more than 50, you also have to say pass. Greater than equal to 50, you have to say you have passed. Okay. Now, one option is you go and type everywhere, print you have passed. Okay. Print you have passed. Print you have passed. But remember, in programming or in computer, whether it is Python or Java or data science or database, SQL, whatever you are working with, content should not be duplicated. We should not duplicate as much as possible. Yes, if there is no way, it's fine. But, okay, content should not be duplicated. Okay, so what we'll do in this case is, okay, we will use something called as nested if. I'll take 5 more minutes, guys. Okay, and then we'll wrap up. So what we'll do is, first we will check if AVG greater than equal to 50, and you say you have passed. Else you say, okay, you have not passed, right? Okay. Now what I'll do is, now see, 85 to 50, these things can easily fit inside 50. I will go and paste it inside 50. And this else is anyway here. So I can simply add them together. And simply add them together. And now here you have if, elif. So here elif is not required, else we can give. Because anyway, this will, you will go in when average is more than 50. So by default, it means it is more than 50 and less than 60. So this is one way of doing if elif. Simply I converted the previous program into this program. Now if you see, okay, you have passed will be printed. Okay. And grade A. Okay. Now you don't have to do this. So I can delete this now. Only one line is enough. Okay. So you have passed grade A. So I have, this is the main condition. This is the first condition. Okay. So if this is true only, you will go inside. Otherwise, you will not go inside. If I say 45, okay, average more than 50, no, false. If it is false, none of these will be executed. It will directly go to else part. It will directly go to else part. If it is 55, then this condition is true. It will go in. You have passed will be printed. Checks this here. 55 is not greater than 85, false. This is also false. This is also false. The default it goes to grade D. You have passed here, and all of these are false, so it goes to else, and it'll say grade D. Did you understand, everyone? Okay. Now let's say if average is more than 90, you give a special merit award. So I can say here more than 90. When is more than 90? If it is more than 85 only, it is possible to have more than 90. Okay. If it is not more than 85, then obviously it is not more than. Yeah. If I'm talking about more than 90, which condition it has to be, where should I write that part? Okay, it has to be in 85 condition. Yes, here. Okay, so I'm going to say if AVG greater than equal to 90, print you get a merit certificate. Okay, something like this. If something happens for more than 9, you get an, let's say, award, medal, right? You can have one more condition. So you can write any level of if, one if inside if, another inside if. So here, if you see, we are using 3 if conditions, right? This if is inside this if is inside this. That means if this is true only, this will be even checked. See, this is true doesn't mean that this will also be true, but it will be checked. If this itself is false, then this will not be checked. If this itself is false, this will not be checked. If this is true only, this will be checked. If this is true only, this will be printed. So even if I say 85, okay, you will get grade A, but this will become false and you won't get merit certificate. But when I say 95, now you see, you get grade A and you get merit certificate. Okay. So this is how we can do if inside if. Any question, guys? We'll stop here for today. Okay. And tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk about loops. We'll do loops. And once we are done with loops, we'll spend a couple of days programming if and loop. Then we'll get into data structure. We'll talk about string, list, tuple, etc. All good? Any comment, any feedback? How's the pace? Pace is good. You're able to understand? This is real-time examples only, no, Sai? What do you mean? So you will have to build application to assign grade. This is real-time example. Okay. So, okay, fine. We'll end it here for today. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Okay. Take care. Bye.